Let's welcome in Deven Choksey, who's with us at DRChoksey Finserv. Deven, good to have you with us here. Thanks very much for joining us. Just first thoughts on this, the India-US overture, and where does this, there will be some short covering. Where will this show up in the maximum way, in your opinion, if you want to talk about stocks or sectors, Deven?
Good morning, Prashant. Well, I think the market has shown a distinct amount of resilience to the negative news which have emerged in past few weeks, particularly after the tariff-related dictate which came from US side. Today, the situation is slightly turning favorable. Both the Commerce Minister as well as President of America, both of them are giving statements saying that the situations of working favorably on the arriving at the tariff conclusions, etc. Should that be the case, in my viewpoint, I think the market would cheer up. I think this particular month or a quarter, whatever we call it as, I think the second quarter of the financial year, I think the market should be making reasonable amount of, stable bottom, as I would call it as. Wherever that level it is, I think the market would be forming that level. And that is the level at which I think I'm seeing the buying interest emerging. One of the most important point out here, the market is attracting a lot of new papers. And at this point of time, I think there is an appetite to buy some of the new papers as far as I think the new companies are concerned in the market. So in my viewpoint, given the kind of positive fund flow, given the kind of positive news flow expected rather, I think the things should be working out better as far as the market is concerned. We remain cautiously optimistic about various companies within the respective sectors where the growth is above normal. And that's where probably I think our focus remains as far as I think this financial year is concerned.
Okay, all right. Hi, Deven. Good morning. Good to see you, Ben. We heard the management of JK Lakshmi Cement. What's your view out there? I still believe a couple of small assets are going to get, consolidated in the next 3 to around 6 months in this fiscal. How do you approach this space?
Yeah, Nigel, good morning. Well, I think the 5-year scenario for the cement, given around 7-8% kind of a growth in the sector, I believe that cement demand could touch somewhere around 670-75 million metric tons across, I think, the country, given the kind of projects that we are executing. And those companies which have created larger size capacities, both due to the organic level of activities as well as acquiring some of the companies like Adani Group has been doing it. In my viewpoint, I think the larger capacity companies are the ones which are likely to be beneficiary of this particular size that is getting created at the current level. JK Lakshmi Cement also, I think, has been very vocal about 30 million capacity that they want to achieve from 18 million in next 5 years' time. So certainly, I think they are also moving in the direction creating the size. I believe the larger the size and larger the footprint that one is creating in the local markets would be the way to look at these companies. Both the construction sector, infrastructure side, as well as housing side, both of them are attracting reasonably good size of demand for the cement companies in general, as I see it. So distinctly positive, but selectively for the larger companies where the capacity advantage comes to their balance sheets.
Got it. All right. By the way, the large trade has taken place. Now we'll have to see whether or not there's a bit of a short covering bounce that takes place, because there were shorts in the system on Kotak Mahindra Bank, and this deal has taken place in the pre-open window. So those shorts will be getting a little bit nervous in today's trade. They've been talking about the trade deal. I wanted to ask about the textile companies, namely Welspun India, Gokuldas. Both of them got slammed. Now it appears, both the leaders are Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi and Trump. They're going to be getting onto the table and hopefully coming up with a deal. Going by the way these stocks have corrected, do you think it's time to gradually start getting in? Because sooner or later, there will be a more rational deal on the table. Your take?
Absolutely, Nigel. I think whatever negative had to be there, I think it has already come in. Maybe I think some working-wise this September ended quarter might have some negative working impact, I think, as far as these textile companies are concerned. But that would be the last one as I see it, I think, because as we rightly observing, if both the leaders are concluding the deal, probably I think the normalcy would get restored. And in the third quarter onwards, I think you should be seeing better times for companies. Market would definitely pick up the tailwind if this announcement comes in. In my viewpoint, I think the downside is probably limited in this sector. Maybe select companies, I think, could be the beneficiary in this particular sector.
Deven, hi. Morning. On a side note, we're talking about all the secondary market. But the primary market is always very interesting, right? And today, again, there's a new issue opening. It just tells you about how India is consuming differently. Now, I'm talking about, of course, Urban Company. We'll talk to the management soon enough. One more platform company will be part of the listed universe. Did you take a look at it? I mean, only I think less than 500 crores is going in the company. It's largely an OFS. But did the business look interesting? The valuations, does it make sense?
Yes, good morning. Well, I believe that from the business model perspective, yes, I think it is a business model which is a requirement for Indian middle class in particular, who require the services of whatever the 9 services that they have built in their portfolio. They require those services. And in my viewpoint, I think they have been reasonable in arriving at, I think, the pricing for the services. Given the kind of balance sheet and P&L that one has seen right now, I believe that I think they have started showing the signs of sustaining the profitability, though it is only 1 year since which I think they have come into profit. And that to the international operations, they have still not come into profit. They are actually bleeding. But considering the fact that I think there is a focus to build the profitability as management is committing, I believe that I think that things could look relatively better from here. Question definitely will be on valuation. How do you sustain valuation? Unless you see a sharper jump in the profit, which probably I think could come either way of reducing the loss from international operations, or maybe I think some organic growth which they are promising to grow in current year and thereafter. So we'll have to wait and see. We have a subscribe rating on the stock, of course, but at the same time, we believe that I think if the market scales up too high, then probably I think valuation will become very expensive for the stock.
All right, Deven, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. Subscribe on Urban Company. The management, by the way, comes up a little later here on the program, and we'll quiz them.